And I'm honored that two of the Harris family are here, Eamon Harris and Jackie McGrath are here. It's an honor for me as well. Just briefly, I'd like to mention Richard Harris's best friend and confidant and inspiration is a man named Terry James, who was very involved in Richard's life and his career, and beyond his career, extended his friendship. When in need for anything, Terry James was not a fair.
Brace myself on your shoulder. You're my
Let's say he wasn't a sunshine patriot, okay? He was there all the time. Whatever, any hour of the day, any problem, Terry James was turned to because he could be trusted. And a big thing with Richard Harris, of course, was trust. It meant a lot to him, loyalty. And he would give that back to you the same way. To be betrayed, he used to say, anyone who betrays me, I see a tombstone in your future. Which has been mentioned to me a couple times. But anyway, this is a little bit about Terry James. Terry James was born in 1933, and he passed in 2016 to conduct the Heavenly Symphony. He's from Kidwelly, a town and community in Carmarthenshire. He was also a doctor of music and a studied theologian. Like the Richard Harris Film Festival, he lived and nurtured musically gifted children and adults. He loved music. It flowed through his veins. Everything to Mr. James was thought of as music. That's how the man was. He taught and then inspired many. And he would say to his students, which he taught in London, don't just play the piece of music. Be part of it. Live the music that you play. He taught music in South London and in South London in the late 1960s and 70s. Now, if you want to picture Terry James, I can tell you what he looked like. If you think of Santa Claus, that was Terry James. He had the white hair, the white beard, and his present to everyone, again, was music. And when a student succeeded and learned their piece to play, the smile you would remember forever. He just loved his students. Terry was Richard's best friend, his confidant. And again, his smile was infectious. You could not help but smile when you seen him smile. He was just a pleasant, all-giving man. That's all I can say. He was pure. And he taught from the heart, not a chart. That's how he was. And everybody could contribute part of themselves, to the music. That's what he wanted, and that's what he got. Yes, his infectious smile, and he had his little white pipe, puffing on it in his class. He was just something to behold. He was an inspiration. And you could always see him when he was pleased with the smile as he puffed his little white pipe. You could see the smile. He was so proud of his students. As I mentioned, Terry James Dr. Terry James actually, was Richard's best friend and his confidant. Richard, at times, he was very vulnerable. And he always wanted to present the best of himself. That was good what he could do perfectly. He wouldn't settle for less. So at times he would say to Terry, am I good? Am I really good? Do I follow the music correctly? Am I okay? I'm very nervous about it because sometimes I find I'm being followed, and it's usually by the orchestra. So Terry would say to him, you're fine, Richard. Sing. Don't think about it. Just be yourself. put it out there. Put the Richard Harris out there, the performer, the perfectionist out there. Just don't worry, do it. And he appreciated it very much. Terry was around Richard most of the time, and it was much appreciated. Terry, some of his compliments, he conducted the Welsh Symphony. A beautiful recording was called A Welsh Mining Valley in Soul, which just captures the essence of Wales. Beautiful piece. If you don't know this, he also created the music for Jonathan Livingston Seagull. And if you heard the recording or tape, CD, what have you, it's just beautiful music, which goes appropriately with that piece. He wrote that. He also did music for I and the Membership of My Days, which was Richard's poetry, put to music, and if you're able to find that, it's absolutely beautiful. And it is available, so Richard and his sons and Terry are on that recording. Of course, he conducted Camelot. When Richard did his tour all over the world, Terry James conducted. Richard's film, Echoes of a Summer, he wrote the music for that. Fine film with Jodie Foster. Also, Terry was approached to do music for a film, Freedom Road, which starred Chris Christopherson and Muhammad Ali. A bold soundtrack, very good. I've not seen the film. In 1997, Terry was nominated for a Joseph Jefferson Award for musical direction for Kismet, which was held over in Chicago. He conducted music for Richard's production. We had put on a production to raise money for a scholarship fund for Julius Caesar, and he created some original music for that. And by the way, Richard got the best out of his students for that production. He taught the class actually in Scranton University, and the students were overwhelmed. He took the time with every student in that production to create their part. He took every part. He would work with the student to make sure they got the best, and it was a very, very good production. And you know, to Jared, Jamie, and Damien, he was an uncle. He was a confidant, a surrogate parent, so to speak. Richard's work, of course, often took him to faraway places for long periods of time for filming. So he would spend his time with them and reassure them and be there whenever they needed. Again, Santa Claus. He would bring that joy to the boys when Dad was away. When Jared was visiting London, Terry James became very ill. It was harder for him to do what he wanted to do. So Jared, when he came to London, he would take that 4-hour train ride to Wales and spend as much time as he could with Terry James. He was not, I would say that he was a relative, not just a friend to the family. Everybody loved Terry. He supported everybody that loved him and would be there no matter what the cost for the Harris family. 2006, there was a beautiful statue erected in Kilkee as a tribute to Richard's athletic skills. Of course, we all know he played racquetball, he was a good rugby player, he played tennis, he was an all-around good athlete, which he portrayed in some of his films. So they erected the statue in Kilkee, and it was a bronze statue. It was at the top of the walls of the Holocaust. So despite the uphill jaunt, Terry James insisted, in walking alone. So I went down to Terry, because he was struggling this way. He suffered with diabetes and some other things, and he was just a trooper. He wanted to be there, no matter what it cost, I'm going to be there to support Richard and his memory. So I walked back and I saw him struggling, and I said to Terry, "Is it okay, Terry? Because it's kind of a jaunt up the hill here. Are you going to be okay?" He said, "Sure I am." "So can I lead you by the arm and walk you to the top?" "Yeah," he says, "a few inches." I said to him, "Well, what are you going to do? What would you do if I wasn't with you to help you? What would you do?" And Terry said, "Oh, easy, Billy. I'll run up the hill." So he said. Finally, it's been a pleasure to be amongst these people. I had known Richard since 1970. Worked with him with a scholarship fund, and two quick stories, I guess I'll tell if I'm allowed to watch the language for a minute. But he was the kind of person that, as you know, he loved rugby. Richard loved rugby. So the phone rings at 4 o'clock in the morning. Who is this? So I answered the phone. "Yeah, who's this?" "It's Richard." "What are you doing, Bill?" I said, "I was trying to sleep, actually, Richard." "Well, you come to New York tomorrow. We have things to discuss. Make sure you're there, even Dorns, 9 o'clock. So I said, "Yeah, okay, Richard, but it's 4 o'clock in the morning." And Richard responded by saying, "Well, Bill, I couldn't fucking sleep. Why should you?" Was. And I owe gratitude to Terry James because enjoying breakfast one morning. "You know what you're eating, Dad?" I said, "Yeah, I'm having my breakfast. Yes, you know what you're eating." I said, "No, what am I eating?" He says, so he finally told me what the ingredients were to blood sausage. So I appreciate him saving my life. Thank you all for listening a little bit. Thank you. And thank you again, Zeb, for giving me the opportunity to at least let people know what Terry was about and how important he was to Richard's career and his life. And God bless you all. Thank you very much.